We're live with Chizuk from Chassidus in the Shtiebel and the family minyan. Baruch Hashem, a big thank you Hashem for the Hashgacha Pratis, the divine providence, that we get to learn Torah of Rabeinu Nachman, Rabbi Nachman ben Faiga Simcha, Erev Rosh Hashana. This is the Zman that Rabbi Nachman is giving us the Tikkun Klali, giving us the opportunity to fix everything. And B'Hashgacha Pratis Gedola, when you learn Torah and you see that Hashem is revealing your own chelik of Torah, showing you that just like the Zman, just like the people, the timing, the people and the neshamas that are here, and the place where we're doing this, that it's exactly b'juk what you need to hear. Just before Uman Rosh Hashana, Baruch Hashem, we thank Hashem. We've been learning a lot about Tefilin, which I would say is more the Zman of Elul. And then this Torah suddenly switches into the avodah of Shabbos Kodesh, because there's two osim, there's two big signs. We know we have a third as well, the Bris Kodesh, which is definitely an Inyan of Elul. His Elul is the sixth Kodesh. Arizal says it's Kavanas Elul is Tikkun Bris Kodesh. So we have to work on our bris, and that's the os of the bris, the brit, the covenant between us and Hashem. Then we have the os of Tefillin, which we've been learning, the ot of Tefillin. We've been learning about, it brings tshuva and busha, all the same osius, and then comes out, the same osius as tshuva and busha is Shabbos. Now what's the seventh Chodesh? Chodesh Shvi, that's Tishrei. So we're going to learn about how Shabbos is the os. We don't need now the os of Tefillin that we've been learning for weeks. Yeah, and I remember I started this 2 years ago with Eli Shaf, and then Min Hashamayim, we're still holding and learning slowly for Likutei Moharan, and here we are, a week before Rosh Hashana. This will be our last learning in Likutei Moharan together in the Shtiebel till after the new year, Tafshin Pei Vav Ba'aleinu L'Tova, and we're seeing in Tehillim it's Tehillim Pei, I think Pei Gimel, it's Yom Chamishi B'Shabbos, Yom Chamishi Shabbos. We say it every week on Thursday, and this Tehillim says the great remez of Tiku b'chodesh shofar b'kesel yom chagenu. This psalm is the psalm of Rosh Hashana, and it also is a psalm of Yom Chamishi every week. And it says Tiku b'chodesh shofar is Rosh Tevish. If you take the osis Taf Beis Shin Shabbos, yeah, we see the Shabbos Tiku b'chodesh shofar. This is the chodesh where we blow the shofar. Is the Shabbos, the Shabbos Tika Chodesh, the Chodesh Shvi. This is Tishrei. This is the Zman of Shabbos. So these 6 Chodoshim we had from Rosh Chodesh Nisan. And remember, we've been going through. We went through war. We just had a siren a few minutes ago, like a shofar almost. You know, like someone said, we're still here. We're sitting in the shul. We didn't run home and message my wife said everything's fine. Yeah, Baruch Hashem. Some people get affected by it differently. You know, we know the famous saying for Rabbi Nachman that the ikh is not to have any fear at all. So we have to really work on that nakuda of not being mufached. All right, there's a shtadlus, whatever. But where we here are in Likutei Moharan, we're sitting here, we're learning instead of running away, and we're learning Torah Kadosha, Erev Rosh Hashana, Tafshin Pei Vav, and we're tuning into Rabbi Nachman that he's Megala, what is this sod of Shabbos, of sod of Tishrei, that the whole Tishrei gives us an insight into what Shabbos is. Every week we get to have Shabbos, and the Tzaddikim knew that Shabbos is a Zman of Rosh Hashana, Yom Kippur, Sukkot. Every Shabbos, every Chodesh Shvi, you're experiencing the Shabbos. Leil Shabbos is Rosh Hashana, Shabbos day, we bring out the Torah, that's Yom Kippur, we get the second Luchas, and then Kam Shalasudis is Zman Fros Elena Sukkot Shalamecha. We get the Zman of Sukkos. Avram, Yaakov, Yitzchak, Yarnei, Yaakov, Vanav, Menuchavo, Avram, Yitzchak, Yaakov, Leil Shabbos, Shabbos day, and Shalasudis. We get to the Bechina of Sukkos, and then Simchas Torah is already the Rabbi Deramin. Shabbos Bereshis is already Rabbi Deramin, even more Spitz of the Rabbi Deramin. So the whole Tishrei is a Zman, a Gilui of Shabbos. So it's like giving us a whole Chodesh how to experience Shabbos, how to understand on a deep way through a whole month of time really what Shabbos is. So it's very deep, and we see it's hinted to in the Chadodi as well. Yeah, we say it every Shabbos night. It's not just stam that we mention these words. We say in the second part of the Chadodi, it's the root of all bracha. So Chodesh Shvi, we know Rosh Hashanah is bringing down all the bracha for the whole year. It's the source of all bracha. Merosh Mekedem the Sucha says in the Chadodi. Merosh Mukabalim. Merosh is Rosh Hashanah. Mekedem is Yom Kippur. Nesuka is Sukkot. Sof Maaseh Machshav Dechila is already Shabbos Bereshis is Rabbi Derami. So there's a hint already in the Chadodi straight away of this whole pnimyius is Gilui of what Shabbos is. I want to say that my son, he should be gebenched, he's on his way to Uman. So right now, a lot of people are traveling and they should have a safe journey.
Rabbi Yosef's going.
Yosef should have a safe journey. Kala kavod. We'll have you in mind. My son mentioned it today as well. That you were going, he must have spoken to you. So the idea that he's going already first to Budapest, then through a train straight to the Mezabish, to the Baal Shem, the Beshes, the Heilige Baal Shem, Tov HaKodesh, and then from there he's going to travel by taxi to Bez Hashem, to Uman Rosh Hashana, and he's going to be Bez Hashem Gevaldik Hashbaz over there by the Tzaddick Rabeinu Nachman. As we're learning his Torah, we have to have covered to the Eitzah that he gave that should be there. I wish I could be there. He's my shliach, Bez Hashem, and he was also last week. I forgot to mention in the Shtiebel, he was with Bibi, and when Bibi had a chat with him, he was chosen from many boys as part of the mechina, or men rather, let's say men, as part of the mechinas of Am Yisrael that are preparing for the army, and they were looking for more like Haredi kind of boys. So he grew up in the Haredi systems, even though we're on our journey, and he was chosen from hundreds of boys. For just a few were chosen to have special time in one of the caves by the Kosel, and he got to talk to Bibi directly. And he wanted, when Bibi asked him, most people were told what to say. But his Rosh of Mechina said, I trust you, you know what to say. I'm not going to tell you what to say, you say what you need to say. So he said to Bibi, what did he say to Bibi? The first of all, he wanted to say that our Mechina is going in the derech Rabeinu Nachman ben Faiga. He was going to say that, but he didn't say it. For some reason Hashem took it out of his mind. Instead what he said to him is that my Mechina is all about Or, Emuna, and Simcha. Three things, light, which as we know, these are all things that we need to work on this Rosh Hashanah as well. Light, Emuna, and Simcha. That's what he said to Bibi, the Prime Minister, Benjamin Netanyahu. He then said to he was interesting, wow, it was interesting. And the Bibi started moving away to someone else, and just before he moved, my son took his hand, and he said, but I want to give you a bracha. He said, you should be zoche to go in the derech of David HaMelech. He said to Bibi, So when I saw my son afterwards, I said, what was it like? He said, Bibi had the merit to meet me today. That's what he said. This is the generation. Like we had dedicated our last few classes to Charlie Kirk. People are saying there's now going to be millions of Charlies. This is the generation when we all have to stand up. Tommy Robinsons, we have to stand up and fight. Whatever the good fight is. Each person according to their situation, according to the Yetzer Hara, according to the hashpah they can have in their seviva. We have to fight. It's a war. We have to fight for our neshama. So Rabeinu Nachman is giving us the tools to fight, and we already have the Indian of Tefilin and Tshuva. Now we're going to talk about Shabbos. Zeh Perish
Lamed Ches?
Torah Lamed Ches, Sif Ches. 38th Torah, and it's Sif Ches. Thanks for reminding me. Likutei Moharan. Zeh Perish Im Tashev Mashabbos V'Agelech Hatzos Chavsech B'Yom Kodesh. Everyone knows we say this pasuk every Shabbos from Yishai, from the Novi, that if you restrain your foot on Shabbos, what will happen? From pursuing your affairs on my holy day. Many examples of Daber Daver, how you speak on Shabbos, how you think on Shabbos. These are obviously malacha, shouldn't do the lamitat malachas. This is what we're beginning the Torah with. What will Hashem do? Ki Shabbos b'chinas busha. Now we've just been saying again, Tefilin is going to bring us to this level of bina and busha and tshuva. So comes Shabbos. Shabbos is osius busha. Shabbos is boshus, yira boshus. We already mentioned that already in this Torah. That Shabbos gives us busha, boshus bonim. Now we said when we're learning about busha, one of the ways we're explaining busha, you can translate embarrassment, but the way we're saying is a healthy level of shame. Healthy shame, because there's things you can learn in Yiddishkeit in an unhealthy way. Busha, someone shames you. You consider that a kapara, you have to have, as Rabeinu Nachman says, another Torah, you have to have silence. But here it's talking about an inner awareness of Hashem at a very deep level of madrega of understanding. It gives you ability to come to a level of healthy busha, where when you're standing in front of Hashem, you have a healthy shame. A shame that gives you more of a connection to Hashem. Because I'm sure when people were standing with Bibi, if you look on the video, I'm going to put on the clip here, you see my son, he's about to put his arm on Bibi. But you don't do that. He didn't do it, thank God. But he was about, because they're having a picture together. He shook his hand, but to put your arm around Bibi, they put it around each other, not around Bibi, yeah? And that's just Bibi, yeah? That's not the king, that's not Hashem. So there has to be some sort of aim, a little bit of awareness who you're dealing with. This is Hashem Yisbarach. He's the one who gives us the Torah. He's the one who runs the world. He's the Melech. That's what we're crowning him this Rosh Hashanah, please God. And hopefully it will make a big difference in the world. Because there's this concept, these are things you do like in a Ruchniya setting and you feel about. The key is now, HaMelech has to be the whole year round. We have to somehow this year, Melech HaMishpat, wouldn't you want to have Mishpat the whole year from the Melech, instead of all this garbage that goes on day after day, all the corruption, all the pain that we see around us? It would be amazing if it was a Melech HaMishpat the whole year round, that it would influence the courts in Eretz Yisrael, influence the courts of the world. There'd be Mishpat, yeah, true Mishpat. It's lacking so much that it's like almost making a human being crazy. The lack of it is a problem. This is the kind of thing we need to feel the Melech in our life, the king. The influence. I was just learning Chassidus Torah with Dr. Yudeman, that once you realize you're in the army of the Melech, you're a whole different level. Now you realize I'm a general in the army of the Melech. Yeah, I'm part of his army, and now I have a position, and now that means I have opportunity to every day, Lahavdil, Charlie Kirk would say, he's mission focused. We have to be mission focused even more so. Hashem gave us a very clear mission statement, very clear. Way more than all the nations, and really our light is meant to be shining. It's probably through us is how Charlie got to his mission statement. Apparently he's putting out a bestseller book on Shabbos. So it comes back to Rabeinu Nachman. Initially, he has to rectify the spoken word, Nikra Regel. How is he going to fix up his speech? The way you fix up your speech is through Shabbos. Shabbos gives you, as we said, the Dabar Dova. You can't just say what you want on Shabbos. There's a Shabbos to speak. Says Rabeinu Nachman that the Nachash brings down 39 curses. 39 malachas. Every person has to bring down upon him Shabbos, the Kedusha of Shabbos. And the Kadesh Yemei. This is the point. It has to, like we said, the Chodesh Tishrei has to influence the whole year, because it's the Shabbos to Chodesh. So too, the Shabbos every week needs to influence the whole week. All 6 days before and 6 days after. Has to bring the Kedusha that affects your 39 forms of work, that's connected to Klala from the Nachash. Like we know, it's also can be turned around to Tau, Tale Oiris, 39 or lights that come down. 3 times Achad is Gematria Tau, Hashem Achad. Hashem Achad is Gematria Tau. We have to fix this inyan of by bringing the Yichud of Hashem, bringing the Melech, bringing it into our work, into our weekday, and that is what Shabbos does. Hamshich Kedush Shabbos, the Kaddish Yemei, to elevate the 6 days that we're in now, the week, the 6 days of 6,000 years of history. We have to get to Yom Shekula Shabbos. As it says in the Mechilta, remember the Shabbos, remember from the first day of the week, like we just said, Yom Hamishi b'Shabbos. There's also Yom Rishon. The whole way through the week, we're constantly mentioning Shabbos. Zocher Shabbos Kadsho, the 6 Tzichonis. Every day we have to mention Zocher Shabbos Kadsho at the end of the Siddur. Yeah, the Kedushas Levi has a whole parish on those beautiful 6 Tzichonis. He has a whole sefer on it, actually. It's beautiful. It's so important to tune into those 6 ways of remembering Hashem, and one of them is Shabbos. And through this kedusha we make holy these weekdays. And then what happens? We push away the pollution from the serpent, from the snake, from the one that makes everything difficult and struggle with. Kates kol basa, and this gives us ability, once we've dispelled the snake, to an end to all the flesh, all the storm winds. We've been learning about this in the Likutei Moharan. These storm winds, this noise, this balagan. Then you elevate speech. That's the explanation. Because when is it you go after your personal affairs? During the week. What happens on Shabbos? You refrain from your personal affairs, and you take on the king, you take on the All Malchus Shemayim of Shabbos. Yeah, you know, one of the things you have to realize, Shabbos is also an opportunity to really experience Hashem's kingship, because it's part of the inyan of in the tefillah we say, it's a very important tefillah we say in the night in Morav. Morav is the beginning of Shabbos, so it gives us opportunity to tap in to a lot of these concepts. And it says here in the Shemona Esrei, it says Yisbuchu Hashemayim. Yeah, no, that's a different pasuk. It says here. Yeah, Yisbuchu Malchusech Shomei Shabbos Kori Oneg. So what's the inyan? Shomei Shabbos Kori Oneg is Ol Malchus Shemayim. Rosh Hashanah Shabbos v'Kori Oneg. Shabbos brings you the ability to call out to Oneg. The pleasure we get from Shabbos is a way of experiencing the Ol Malchus Shemayim. Yeah, there's another one. Am Mikad Sheshvi Ol Malchus Shemayim. The nation that sanctifies the seventh. You see, the seventh Chodesh, seventh day, this brings down the Ol Malchus Shemayim. And that's by refraining from doing things you normally do, to do that. This is a day to Mamlech Hashem. Yom Kodshi, yeah, this is my holy day. Yeah, Yidma Ki'ilu Achshav Yom Kodshi. It will seem as though this is my holy day. Hainu Tamshich B'Kedusha Shabbos Al Yemeicho B'Kadishem Mishloishim B'Tesa Melachas. How do you draw down the Shabbos to the days of the week? So you sanctify them through the 39 malachas. So the 39 malachas, by keeping Shabbos, you sanctify these 39 malachas by not doing them on Shabbos. And then when you have to do them during the week again, then they already have a kedusha. Same with the speech. The idea is this is really important. It's an important yesod, I think, in life. The non-Jews understood it on some level. The idea of self-restraint brings happiness. Stephen Covey writes about this. Having self-restraint is the real key to happiness in life, not just doing whatever you want. It's a big mistake, this whole woke, hedonistic culture, or, you know, the Yishmaelim, they're just killing and raping whoever they want. This is all a massive mistake. It's no joy from it, no simcha. The simcha comes from controlling ourselves. That's a basic human understanding. But there's a higher level that we have through Shabbos and through the Chodesh HaShvi, through Rosh Hashanah, Yom Kippur, Sukkot, through the coming time that we're entering. We're going from Elul, the 6th month, which is all our chana for the Yom Shekula Shabbos, for the Yom Shabbos, the Chodesh HaShvi. We get to a level where we're refraining from doing malachas, we're refraining from speaking like whatever, we're refraining from thinking in a certain way, and that allows, it makes room for the Shekhinah, makes room for Hashem's Malchus to enter into our being, and then through that we elevate everything else before and after, the weekdays before and the weekdays to come, the Chodoshim before, the Chodoshim to come. So really, rather than looking at it as like, you know, how can I get my panasa for the new year, or how can I, you know, if I daven a little bit harder, Hashem will give me Yeshua. Rather than think about what you can get, think about what you can experience. Yom Shekula Shabbos, this day, this Shabbos, this Chodesh HaShvi, this opportunity to connect in, where the shofar blows and we wake up and we experience the shefa coming down, the makor bracha, the source of blessing, and we're experiencing a true relationship with Hashem, where we've disconnected to reconnect. If Charlie could figure it out, that how important Shabbos is, that you need to disconnect to reconnect. All the more so Am Yisrael, who have it as a direct mitzvah, a chiyuv. We can't do these malachas. Let's understand that it's actually the biggest gift. The Shabbos is a matana tova. It's a gift because it creates ability for us to elevate everything and to bring us to true relationship with Hashem, which in itself will bring a healthy level of shame, which is part of the tachlis of Am Yisrael, is to be Bashanim, Gemil Chasadim, Rahmanim. So how do we get to that level of Bashanim? It's to have shame in front of Hashem. It's through this making space for Hashem, through Shabbos, through allowing it to enter into our life, into our work, into everything, and how we speak, how we act. That's the Kedusha that Rabeinu Nachman is talking about. And it's no wonder that of all the days he chose, Rosh Hashanah would be the day that he'd give a tikkun for Am Yisrael, that he'd, just by singing Tikkun Kali and being by his gravesite, giving a little coin of tzedakah, Erev Rosh Hashanah, and being there, Baruch Hashem, having the opportunity to daven there. I've been there, thank God, many times, many years. And you know, my son himself, he's going there independently. He's my shliach because, you know, I gave him like a little bit of extra help, but really it was such a new generation of kids where he's built his own panas already at the age of 17, where he's paying for himself. He's going there independent. I gave him a few numbers each time. Just a few funny stories. We'll end off with this. I gave him a few different numbers. There's Shina's people. Now, I'm not going to say the name of the guy who's Shina's person there, but the main guy of Shina who's there, his representative, and he'll daven by his minion probably, and Shina's Chaver will hook him up with food and VIP and all the good things. Fine. The other number I gave him was Gedalia Fenster. This was last year, because I thought, touch base with him. Maybe you'll kind of go to his shir, ask him when it is, just send my regards while you're there with him. I already mentioned that you're going to be there. Anyway, so Gedalia Fenster gets the wrong message. He gets the Shiner message about the food and the VIP. So Gedalia looks at it, tries to figure it out, and sends a message to my son, how much do you need? I'll send it right now. Give me your PayPal or whatever. Yeah? That was his reaction, straight on the ball. This is a private message. No one knows about this. This is what Gedalia. He's ready to go. He didn't even really make sense, the message, because it was asking about, getting a bit of help for Yom Tov or whatever, the food and stuff. And he just took it, it's Eli's son, I'll just throw him some money, Like, he wasn't asking for money, and it wasn't even the right person. He wanted to just meet Gedalia. He didn't want to ask him for money. But Gedalia is so tuned in into mitzvah, voda. That was his first reaction. How more Jews should be like that, especially when we learn about charity, how important it is. But that was the Gedalia story. And then I gave him a few other numbers because he's going to be in Budapest. One of the reasons why I gave him a number in Budapest, because last time I went with my son Baruch Yitzhak, and this year he would love to be in Uman, but he just can't. He's got too much PTSD or whatever the word is, too much trauma from what he went through in Gaza and everything, and to be on those long journeys and you get stopped on the border. Hopefully my son would be quicker because he's on the train, but to have that in the soil, it's just it's too much. I was with him on the last trip. We went to Kerastir, we went to London, and it was some real triggers there. So Baruch Hashem, he got through it. It's okay, and Bez Hashem will have his time where he'll fly again with Yeshiva Das, and it would be easier to get to Uman, like Kiev will get opened again, Bez Hashem, or Rabeinu Nachman will come here again. But I don't want to put him through it. But he nevertheless wants to be there. So I just want to say, a story, he himself would want to be there, but he himself also knows the koach of the tzaddik, and we have to realize that there's different shitas now. They've got Morgenstern, Rabeinu Nachman, Uman Yerushalayim, Uman Rosh Hashana. There's different bechinas of what it means. We have to realize though that the most important thing is tuning into the Ratzon Hashem. That's the most powerful thing. That's the spitz of every Shabbos. Is the Ravin is this will of wills, finding ourselves and tuning into the deepest part of our neshama. And as we said before, what is my mission here? And we have to really be clear about it. And that will give us the das. Even though we have to go in the way of the tzaddik, we also have to know our own shtickle tzaddik within and what our purpose is, our Eitzah is. And I could give you many stories against that whole sugya, why I'm not going to be in Uman this year, but rather than get to that whole thing, those who are should be Pal Yeshua's for Am Yisrael. And if anyone wants to talk to me about it privately, I'm happy to talk about it, why I'm not going. It's a personal thing this year, but each person needs to know in a deep way what their calling is. And with that kind of inner connection, that will give us the ability to tune into the Torahs and the pnimyius. The Tikkun of Rabeinu Nachman is a pnimyius avoda. It's not some flag waving, I'm a Breslover, look, I'm in Uman. It's much deeper than that. It's an opportunity to connect to the shorish of who we are, the root of creation, the root of its chadshus, of renewal, of shefa, of pnimyius, of tzaddikim, of tachlis ma'aseh bereishis, the purpose of creation. This is what the kind of pnimyius of Rabeinu Nachman is trying to pull out of us, schlep out of Am Yisrael, and to bring us back to the Yemei Kedem, where there is no hate, there is no sin, there's no problems, and then we'll be zocheh Bez Hashem to fos aleinu sukkah shalamecha, and all Klal Yisrael will be zocheh to the true peace, and especially in Eretz Yisrael and all the world, and please God in Yerushalayim, Amen v'Amen.
Amen.
Frat 2.